Live.
And we are live.
You did it.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Steve. How you doing, Steve?
Good. How are you?
Okay. This is just a test. I don't know how it's going to come out. I'm trying to figure out the countdown thing on this thingy on this wonderful platform, StreamYard. Love it so much, but I just have a little bit of a confusion with the countdown. I know it sounds crazy with the countdown, when to tap it on. And the only way I'll find out is, through playback and stuff like that nature.
Yeah.
So we shall see. I'm going to tap on the comments. Are you able to see any comments over there?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Because that's before we go on live, I always make sure the comment tab is lit.
Right. Unfortunately, because of trying to get to that countdown feature, this is just a technical thing, guys. If you're picking up on us, it's a nice, fast hello to you. Hope that everyone is doing well as usual. You know what, Steve? While we're waiting to see if this thing is working or whatever, this morning on my 15 minutes of tea with me show, I'd like to integrate some money-saving tips on there during the interim.
Oh.
Yeah. And one of them, I was really getting into it before the 15-minute timer went off. So that was kind of unfortunate, and I was considering expounding on that subject tomorrow morning, which I still may do, along with a couple of practical videos and stuff like that. So we shall see what we shall see. But the main idea, I'm going to present a challenge for anyone who's viewing this on playback, because I know it's the middle of the day and everything, and it's a Monday, whatever. So I don't really, expect to see anybody really here right now. But anyone catching this on playback, give yourself a challenge during this holiday season, which we're really embarking upon. See how much you can save doing the little bitty things that you don't think counts, and take that actual physical dollar or $5 or $10, whatever the case may be, and literally take it and put it, let's say, in an envelope, in your pocket, a jar, whatever. Don't get me. Hey, Nona Grace, how are you?
Hello.
Nona, were you around to see a countdown going off, a timer going off before this? I mean, I know this was a spontaneous thing, and that's what we're testing. So I was just wondering. Hi. Oh, she's saying hi back to you too, Steve.
Hi, Nona.
How are things up in Western New York? Head on to Nona Grace's channel, anybody watching. Some really cool stuff there. And I like that you come on at night, like 9-ish or so about. Yeah. No, you didn't see that? Oh, okay. We'll have to work on that. That was one of the purposes of this little surprise interlude, technical stuff, but that's okay. I get a chance to say hello. But going back to this challenge, take the 31-day money challenge. See how much you can possibly save physically. Cold. Oh, wow. Cold over there? Wow. Okay. We're kind of warm here, like at 50-something degrees, which is pretty good for this time of the year. Yeah.
You guys.
But just imagine, take 31 days from now. Today's November 16th. And indicate on a calendar to December 16th. You're saying, but wait a minute, this is the holiday season. How can I save? That's the challenge. If you could try to save little bits here and there, even now during the holiday season, then that's really passing the challenge, Steve, doesn't it count just saving little bits here and there?
Yeah. Most people think, oh, but I'm not able to save. It's not. Look, I have found out anything is possible. So here's what you do. I mean, in worst case scenario, $1 each day, $1. If you don't want to do that, and you have the ability to do it, if you don't want to do that, you can just take $31 up front and set it aside for the month. That way you're done. If you have the ability. If not, $1. And, if you're able to go higher, it's to your benefit.
Sure. And the fun part is finding those little cracks and crevices of spending throughout the day. See, that's what it is that people overlook. Oh, it doesn't matter if I just buy that one $4 or $5 cup of coffee, just using the coffee example.
Mm.
Oh, what's one bag of chips? Fine, one. But if you do that every single day, that's going to accumulate to a little bit of an expense. You could turn it around. Instead of it being the expense, let it be the savings. Nona Grace, that's your youngest daughter. Never enough.
Yeah.
You're right, Nona Grace. It's just never enough.
It's
How
not.
the roosters doing? How the chickens doing, Nona Grace? They're so cute. Nona Grace is so talented in so many ways. I love your crocheted work, especially the Christmas ornaments. That was last night's show. Head on over there, folks, really. But anyway, I was thinking, like I said, of expounding on that subject tomorrow, and I probably will on a video. But anyway, so this was just a test, and thank you so much for your time, and hope that everybody has a wonderful remainder of the day. Do you have anything else to say, Steve?
Not really. Except one thing. I'll pass this along to Nona. It could be of some help. What I also tend to do is, depending on how a person gets paid monthly, is it every 2 weeks? Is it every week? However, what I have, I'm on a monthly basis. So what I do is that I take, whatever I need to pay out for the month, and I take whatever balance is left. I take that, divide it by how many amount of days. If it's 20, if it's 25, I try to live within that bracket. Anything below that carries over to the next day. So it's actually helpful to me if you stay within that.
Stay within it. That does make a lot of sense. That's very cool, Steve. Hey, Rich, how are you?
Hi.
I have to head on over to your channel. It's been a while. I have to play catch up on a lot of channels. I even mentioned to someone the other day, I wish that there were 35 hours in a day, literally, to catch up on the channels. And Nona Grace, I'm glad that you ran into us too. And yes, you told her to track her spending. Very, very true. So it is sunny, of course, in New Jersey. Very cool. Oh, very, very cool. How you doing, Rich? Everything good? I know you missed your Mets. Just have a few more months to go. Aw, no worry. Well, thank you. You know I love you. You got a great channel. Thank you so much.
Yes, I actually, if I may, I actually subscribe to Rich's channel. And yeah, I'm a game show nut. So when it comes to the old Card Sharks and things like that, I'm totally for that. Personally, though, I prefer the 80s version of Card Sharks because when you go to do the money cards, it's easier to win the money because you can change a card anywhere on the line, whereas in the 70s version, it's much harder to win the money. I just thought I would point that out.
That's interesting, Rich. Are you loving the current game shows that are making a comeback, or not quite the same? I mean, if you view them, that is, assumingly, not sure. I'm glad about the idea of the game shows coming back, which is good. Some updates are good. Some I'm not too fond of. But, we get like sort of in a rut, and like certain things you get used to. But I'm glad that the idea of the game shows are coming back, So that's always a good thing. Doing good. He thanked you for subscribing. Very cool.
Oh, you're welcome. Like I said, matter of fact, Card Sharks is back. It's back on. But nothing will ever beat Jim Perry or Bob Eubanks as host. I'm loyal to them. I mean, I remember Jim Perry also going on to do Sale of the Century as well in the 80s. Of course, you remember it before Jim Perry. You knew it, prior to.
I have a little story if you got a minute. Rich, guess what? I attended, now you're a game show buff. I attended, my best friend in high school, and we're still friends to this day. We attended 5 tapings of when it used to be called the $10,000 Pyramid with Dick Clark. Because it originated from New York. So That was so fun. It was just so fun. I loved it. You only like The Price is Right. Oh, my mom, rest her soul, she loved The Price is Right.
Price is Right, yes. Now, mind you, I don't mind Drew Carey. I got to give him credit, but I'm always going to be loyal to Bob Barker. I'm sorry. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new Card Sharks is not the same. I watched it. I'm like, wait a minute. They always try to improve, but they're not always improving something. I mean, why fix what isn't broken? I look at it that way, you know.
That's the truth. And Rich, it was so exciting. But when you go to those game shows, the studios, you think like the audience is like massive and huge. Just like I looked around, like that's it. It was so small.
Yeah.
And Dick Clark was so kind, bless his heart. He came out, he warmed up the audience, he signed his album. Everybody was buying his album for $10 to get his autograph. And it was just like so memorable. So how it works at that time, you sat through like 5 sessions of shows. So we were teenagers, we didn't really care. So we just like sitting there, we just kept watching the shows over and over and over again. I think I also went to Sale of the Century. Didn't Joe Garagiola host that one, Steve?
Yes, he did.
I did see it.
That's the name I was trying to think of a few minutes ago. Yes, he did.
He was a baseball player.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that one. I do remember coming back to the Pyramid. I know that Dick Clark was very busy because he would fly to New York to do the show, and then he would fly back to California to do American Bandstand. Because I don't know if you probably do, at some point back in the 60s, American Bandstand left Philadelphia to go to California.
Right.
That happened like, I think 1964, I believe, is when the change happened. So,
wow.
Yeah, he was doing double duty there for,
So he was definitely double dutying it.
But then eventually, I think when they come back with the $25,000 pyramid or $20,000.
Yeah, then they bumped up the price. Yes.
Then I think everything just took place in California by that point. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Most of those things, shows like that sort of migrated out there. And a lot of the soap operas a lot of them still continued here, like All My Children and stuff like that. Yeah. And a few in Cali. So it was California and New York are what I call distant cousins. We are distant cousin states.
I can see that.
We live like a parallel life, so to speak. It's like we're in agreement with a lot of things, and just one of those things, back and forth. Really, really cool. But it was really exciting, going to those tapings and stuff like that. Years and years ago, I used to love to go over to Rockefeller Center to the NBC tours and, go through the RCA building. And it was just a lot of fun. Like they showed us like the set of Saturday Night Live and how things operated and stuff like that. It was just a lot of fun. Well, this was a nice little surprise test, but I don't think we accomplished the goal that I wanted about that countdown. I'm going to have to reach out to Mr. Brandon Neely. Brandon, if you're watching, I have to reach out to you to ask you about when do I add that countdown? Because I just want to see that countdown. It looks so cute.
Nona Grace agreed with me. It was 1964. The only reason why I know that, a lot of people have certain idols that they look up to. I always admired Dick Clark as a person. Why? Because even though I watched American Bandstand in the 80s, but I always pictured myself being the one interviewing them. I always pictured myself being the interviewer. Plus, of course, me being a fan of the Pyramid as well. So, let's see what my game show. Susan Lucci.
My mom went to a game show once, but I can remember which one she went to. Remember Susan Lucci? Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. Oh. Yeah. I mean, what an iconic actress.
Oh yeah. I mean, and beautiful to match. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Susan. Erica.
elegant, just and a great show. By the way, if I know that this is probably never going to happen, but should any ABC person be viewing Little Jan on New York City and Steve on this thing, what were you thinking? Taking off all my children? Are you kidding me? How many people are angry that that show was taken off the air? My family followed that show since like inception in 69 all the way to the end. Network people, get that show back on the air. Just saying.
Yeah. But
Just saying.
Most people don't realize All My Children actually came first. No, not All My Children. Take that back. Let me try again. I guess I still haven't woke up yet. One Life to Live is what I meant.
I'm not awake yet either.
One Life to Live came first. That started in 68. And then, as you mentioned, then came All My Children.
Wait a minute. Are you serious?
Yeah. Agnes Dixon is the creator of both shows.
Mm-hmm.
But we all know about GH, now General Hospital. That started in the early 60s. I mean, that was...
And that's still going strong from what,
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You got Sonny Corinthos and Carly and all them. So... Mm-hmm.
I did get into them a little bit shortly in the 80s, the General Hospital. But when I was, going to have my daughter back in the day in 79, I had my lineup. There used to be a show, half-hour show called The Doctors, of which actor Ray Liotta was on when he was a kid. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Yeah, somewhat, right?
Yeah.
So you could look him up on YouTube probably. So I would watch The Doctors. I would watch All My Children.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that show with Rachel? I forgot the name of that one.
Another World.
Oh.
2 o'clock NBC. I was there every day. The Corys, the Frames, Amanda and Sam, all of them. Jamie and John. Frank. Yeah.
The good stuff. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Some of this, especially AMC. Just saying.
Agree.
You were hooked on it too?
Oh yeah. Who
you got great taste.
Yeah, who didn't like All My Children?
I was hooked on All My Children. Aww.
And Jesse and Angie being on there, the black couple. Then you had Ryan and Greenlee, and then Zach Slater and oh shoot, I can't think of the other woman's name.
Well, no, you pretty much nailed. Now, Nona Grace has a question, Steve. Maybe you know the answer to this one.
I think Guiding Light started on television in the early 50s, like 1952. Now, I remember my dad, or mentioned, God rest your soul, Dad, mentioned that my mom, or my grandmother rather, used to listen to Guiding Light as a radio show. And Search for Tomorrow, I'm thinking, was probably back in the same ballpark, somewhere that would have had to have been in the 50s. Most people don't realize, if I can add this in, it's a CBS show. As the World Turns started in the 50s. Most people don't know that.
That one I did not. Boy, you really know about this information.
Well, I get bored and I look up things. So what?
No, I'm glad that you do. I have a question for you. Who remembers a network called SoapNet? Remember SoapNet? Now, what happened? It just vanished.
That's what I'm wondering because I used
Anybody know any information out there about SoapNet?
Do you remember? Did you ever watch the TV show Soap Talk?
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
You had Lisa Rinna and Ty Treadway, and you would have the actors, the soap stars, come on. They would do like yeah.
Nona Grace said it was a 15-minute show.
Probably back then, yeah. Then it expounded, or it went on to 30, and then it became 45 minutes, an hour. I know that the soap operas. I'm thinking. Now, you might remember this. Wasn't All My Children at one time a 30-minute show?
Yes, it was. I was in school. I was in grammar school when it was 30 minutes.
Thought so. Okay. All right. Because I know I
listened to a lot of music.
Yeah,
because that was like, how about doing your homework with music on? I was like, I can't do my homework unless music is on.
Right.
So when my students would tell me stuff like that, they probably thought I was going to get angry or not understand. I said, oh, that's cool, as long as you get your homework done. In fact, Steve and we were talking about good study habits, because I don't know if you know, but I am a former school teacher, and I'm all for kids not so much waiting till 6 o'clock at night to do their homework. Let them do it right after school, while their mind, one leg is still on school matters. Get that homework out of the way and have the rest of the day. I kid you, that's what I was taught when I was going to grammar school. And guess what? I did the same thing. And teachers, if you're watching this, you might want to consider to never, ever, ever give a student in grammar school, elementary school, homework on a Friday night.
Oh, no.
I could just imagine the kids going, yeah, I want her for a teacher. Yeah. No homework on Friday nights. That way you do your work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So there. Just saying. Rich Short. Let's see. Did you guys watch Dark Shadows? I didn't, but my mom and sisters were hooked on it. My grandma's favorite show was Hooked on the Edge of Night.
Oh, wow. Another classic soap. My mom was a fan of Dark Shadows back in the 60s. And then as I came around, or, because I was born later, she introduced me to it, Barnabas Collins and Quentin. And, I think I might have I know I have Barnabas Collins right, but I'm not sure about Quentin, but I think that may be right. But I wanted to answer Nona Grace. The Search for Tomorrow started in 1951, so it was in the same.
Holy smoke! You even know the year.
I had to Google it. Thank you, Google.
Oh, okay.
I'm positive. I figured it was in the early 50s somewhere. Edge of Night, I think, is probably in the same ballpark. I'm not sure. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Dark Shadows. And I watched the original. And then when I was about 16, they brought a reboot of it back. It only lasted maybe a season and a half or two. And it was pretty good, but nothing will ever match the original. I mean, that was.
And regarding Dark Shadows, Rich, in my generation, like I was in like the 4th or 5th grade when it was like really popular. I remember my friends in the schoolyard always said, oh, Barnaby or whatever his name was, Dark Shadows. I never saw it. You know why? Because I ran to my radio. I love music. Well, you could ask Steve that. I love music. I ran to the radio, and the most important thing in my life was putting on WABC. Now, you're a local, so you might remember this, Rich. WABC Music Radio in the afternoon. Yeah. Thank you, Nona Grace, about no homework on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And some of my former students, we're still friends to this day on Facebook. We still keep in touch. And the reward was, you did your work all week. Your reward is no homework on Friday. Start off fresh on Monday. Have fun on the weekend. Not worry about homework. I'm just big on that. And the other thing that I used to do, if they cooperated all day long, I gave them like a 10 or 15-minute window head start on their homework, like about 2 o'clock before the bell rang at about 2:15. And they appreciate it. And guess who started their homework right away? It took full advantage. The ones who cared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. We ate lunch during Guiding Light and Search for Tomorrow. I was born in 52. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Cool.
There's, like I said, I myself was born in 74. The only thing I can identify
Stop
with.
rubbing it in, Mr. Steve. No.
The only thing I can identify with year-wise is I am not a crook. But I admire the 1950s so much. You know this firsthand.
Yes, I do.
I mean, I just love that whole decade. I mean, everybody had such class and quality. The kids, your children didn't talk back to the mother. It was yes, sir, no, sir, okay.
You're right. I belong to a number of classic TV groups. I belong to the Father Knows Best group. Yes, there is such a group. Steve and I both belong to Leave It to Beaver fan club group. I also belong to the Hazel group. And yes, there are people that get together and talk about these shows because we really admire the storylines and the acting and the whole thing, and just reminiscing. It's wonderful. I strongly suggest you check them out. They're really nice groups to join.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Rich, what else do you have to say? Friday night in the 60s for me was Gomer Pyle, and then the 70s was the Brady Bunch. Yes, I do remember 77. Yeah, Dan Ingram. I always liked their jingle, Dan Ingram. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Love it. We have parallel lives there, Rich. I think we're the same age bracket. I believe we both graduated high school the same year. The spirit of 76.
Wait a minute. Okay, Rich was born in 56, so he would have graduated high school probably the year I was born, or 1 year after.
No, I think Rich graduated high school in 76. Rich, what year did you graduate from high school? I know you mentioned this to me in the past. I was born in December of 58, so technically it should have been 59. I was the youngest person to graduate from my high school.
Yeah, because technically you should have been the class of the following. I know because
I feel sorrow for kids born in November and December because we have to push the hardest. Meantime, the other kids are academically, their brains are a year ahead. So we have to really try, we really had to try.
He did it. What he did.
Yeah, he did in 76. I knew you were spirit of 76. So there. Well, Steve, this was supposed to be a test, but what else do you have to say? I love it.
I have to tell you though, the year that Rich was born, I mean, I love, like I said, the whole 50s decade. Of course, 56, rock and roll was like in full swing by that point. And when I think of the 70s, 76 was pretty darn good on a musical level because it's before. Okay, I'm going to mention it. People said it sucked, and I respect that. But that was before.
I don't.
Listen, that was before disco became too overly crazy, too commercialized.
Yeah.
Because once that Saturday Night Fever thing, it was like the ish, and it went way overboard. And I didn't really. I like what led up to that point, but that's just me. So
it got too as I call it, can spammy. It wasn't different anymore. The minute something loses its uniqueness, and it, in my opinion, and its difference, then it's like anything else, and then it's like boring. Just saying. Well, I have to say, and before we go, Rich, same thing going up for me. Partridge Family in the 60s, Gomer Pyle was Partridge, was Brady's, it was Odd Couple, Love American Style. This is what Friday nights were as far as TV lineup goes. Darn, we grew up with really good stuff.
Yeah.
So good that people are watching it today.
Oh, yeah. Antenna TV, Me TV, a few other channels. Cozy.
Right. Cozy, right. We take full advantage of it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for stopping by for our test, but apparently the countdown did not appear. I have to talk to Mr. Brandon Neely. Mr. Brandon Neely from the Grandma's Wealth Wisdom channel. Head over to that channel because they have great information. And Mr. Brandon Neely definitely knows his technical stuff. All right, everybody. Nona Grace, was really nice speaking with you.
Yes.
Rick, so happy you dropped by. Thank you.
Rick. Yeah, good to meet you.
I have to get to your channel. I do. So how's your cat doing? Say hello to your cute cat, okay? All right. All right, take care, everybody, and thank you again. Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.